There is a regulatory framework around expirations and returns that is important to be familiar with. And again, this is nothing new that's not in a current version of our course, but it's just a different way to present it to you, I guess. So the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, prohibits re-dispensing returned medications. That's an important thing to note. So it's actually not legal from a federal sense to allow a patient to bring a bottle of medication back to the pharmacy and then dispense it to somebody else. So that's just one important nuance. The Drug Enforcement Agency is going to regulate the expiration, disposal of expired products or returns for controlled substances, especially Schedule II controlled substances. And Usha caught actually an error on one of our practice tests that we're going back to correct around that. So if you have a Schedule II controlled substance, that requires documentation if it's going to be disposed of. And the form that's used to document that disposal is the DEA Form 41. Now, Schedule 3 through 5 controlled substances don't require the use of that form, but there still needs to be documentation of the supply chain. If that medication was returned to a reverse distributor or destroyed in the pharmacy, there needs to be documentation around that, even if it's not officially documented on that Form 41. The Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, regulates the disposal of hazardous substances. And we have a whole module, a whole chapter in the current course around that. And the new course will have its own individual chapter on hazardous drug disposal as well. In addition, the United States Pharmacopoeia, or USP, has a guidance document. So this is USP General Chapter 800 that essentially regulates from a pharmacy perspective the handling and disposal of hazardous drugs. So these four agencies all have a stake from a legal or regulatory framework perspective that dictate what pharmacies are and aren't allowed to do around drug expirations